Okay, welcome back to Tavima. Transgenders belong in mental institutions, which we don't currently have in the United States, but hopefully that'll change one day. So I've taken a lot of screenshots of these transgender wackos, because they're, in fact, wackos. I don't know what to tell you, but I'm going to tell you a lot in this video. And I thought I'd just go through them with you. So here's a really scary one I found. This was on Threads. So this is very, 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 very clearly male. Okay, anyone can see that. And this is what he wrote. He said, "To be clear, I will go to prison before I use a men's bathroom. Death before detransition. I have fought too long and too hard for my womanhood to comply with a stupid, immoral law. I have illegally used women's bathrooms before, and I will again, because I am a woman." So he's a transgender, trying to assert the fact that he's a woman by asserting the fact that he's a woman, which doesn't matter if you're not, in fact, a woman. And what's really scary is it appeared as though he has some kind of career having to do with the law. And this guy is on the internet saying, "I have illegally used women's bathrooms before and I will again." That's really scary and that's extremely predatory. And I'm shocked that he doesn't understand that. But this is a really great example of how they're not of sound mind. Okay, and let me tell you guys something. And I've thought a lot about this because y'all know me. But here's the thing, is that if transgenders wanted to have more accessible bathrooms and they were sane, they would have gone about it. They would have gone about doing so in a much more sane fashion. And what that would have looked like is they would have said, "Look, we know there aren't very many of us. We know we're in the minority, but we do really badly want to have bathrooms that we can always use in any building," right? What they could have done, and I think that anyone would have actually gotten behind this, okay? What they could have done is said, so in addition to there being a men's bathroom and a women's bathroom, because if they were of sound mind, which they are not, they would say, "We understand that people of whatever sex we are not don't want them in their bathrooms, don't want us in their bathrooms." They would have said that. They would have been able to understand that. But again, because they're not mentally okay and not mentally functioning completely, they don't understand that. But anyway, some of them do. But I'm saying they could have said, "Okay, we want to have an additional single stall bathroom, single room bathroom with one toilet, maybe one urinal, that is disabled accessible in addition to men's and women's bathrooms." Okay, that would have been completely reasonable, and that also would have been a lot more helpful to disabled people if there would always guaranteed there would be a single bathroom with a lock on the door that's disability accessible. I don't think anyone would be mad about that, because then also that way anyone with a disability gets priority of the bathroom. They don't have to go all of the way into the women's bathroom, all of the way to the back of the room, which is where their bathrooms are, where their stall is. I don't know about in men's bathrooms because I haven't really been in those for the most part. But they would have said that, and they would have said, "Yeah, we also want a Sharps disposal because they're shooting up their hormones, right?" But that actually would have been reasonable, because there are, like, diabetics need Sharps disposals. But anyway, of course they didn't go about it that way because they're not mentally okay. And freaks like this weirdo demand on using the women's bathroom because that's what he wants to do. He wants to do that. Fuck all these women who deserve to have a bathroom, who deserve to have bathrooms that are women's only. Forget about them. This guy wants something different. This guy wants access to that because he's already fought for too long about it. What a dipshit. Anyway, we're moving on. Saw this interesting person who was saying, "Just your average 19-year-old trans girl." Okay, so anyone who is legally an adult, which in the United States is 18, I actually think that should be higher, but I don't make the rules, is a legal adult. So an 18-year-old female is a woman, an 18-year-old male is a man, right? And then I said a 19-year-old female is actually a legal woman. Why are you trannies so obsessed with girls? It's very disturbing. Most women wouldn't wear this. This is not an outfit that is really practical for any reason. And like, even women who do want to wear very short skirts that aren't working as prostitutes tend to wear short skirts that actually cover their entire butt cheek. Like, just putting that out there. But again, this is a fetish, and this is an obsession with, quote unquote, becoming a woman, which is not possible because they're sent on a wild goose chase that can never be fulfilled. Anyway, this is the same person. When I was 5, I secretly wished I could wear the same clothes as the girls in my class. When I was 9, I felt jealous of girls growing their hair long while mine was always short. When I was 13, I started realizing the feeling inside me wasn't going away, no matter how hard I tried to ignore it. When I was 16, I finally understood that the girl I felt inside wasn't imaginary. She was me. And when I was 19, and finally in transition, I stopped wishing to be someone else. I was finally myself. That's fucked. Because he denied himself. So in order to be himself, he had to deny himself, which is denying the fact that he's likely a homosexual male. Okay, how is that good? Why was this celebrated? People were like, oh, yay, they get to be who they're not. Yay, they get to be who they're pretending to be. Yay, they get to put on a permanent facade and LARP forever. Awesome. What part of that is good? It's anti-gay, idiots. Okay, I guess I can read this other one. Trans women are not confused. Trans women are not pretending. Trans women are not a phase. Trans women are not men in dresses. Yes, they are. Yes, they are. Yes, the fuck they are, my guy. I don't know what else to tell you, and I'm not sorry. No one can change their sex. This is not a secret. This is all just reiterated. Like, all this trans women are not. That's all just reiterated. Bullshit. This is nothing new. This has been said a million times before. This has been said on the internet a lot. People think that if you just repeat something enough times, if you type something enough times, if you say something enough times, that makes it true. No, the fuck it doesn't. People of sound mind understand that. Okay. Here's maybe a better example. When I was 11, I asked for a dress and got laughed at. Boys don't wear dresses. Everyone told me just like pink was for girls. Okay. So he's not doing proper punctuation here, which doesn't surprise me because a lot of these people have literacy issues, and I think that's part of the problem, right? If you can't properly read and you can't properly explain yourself in writing, I'm a little worried for you in all seriousness. Okay, anything soft or cute got taken away. That's terrible parenting. So you had an effeminate little son, and he wanted a cute pink teddy bear, and you took it away. Maybe he acquired a cute pink teddy bear, and you took it away. That's a bullshit parent right there. Like, it's also a bullshit parent to not let your child grow his or her hair out. I think we've really changed a lot. Honestly, I think we have changed a lot in the last, 20 years, just about. I've seen a lot of little boys with very long hair. That's not uncommon now, But is it that serious if your child wants to have long... look at this poor child. If his parents had allowed him to have the things he wanted and allowed him to grow his hair out, he probably wouldn't be trans right now. Okay? It's that simple. He had garbage parents, and now he's going to have a garbage future because he latched on to transgenderism. And that's sad. Okay. So I learned to hide it. Now I'm grown. I became a woman. He became a woman, you guys. He became Not just one woman, but multiple women. 2, 3, 17, who knows? My closet is pink, and today I bought myself the pink dress I was never allowed to have. I actually am okay with you buying yourself things as an adult. Okay with people buying themselves things as an adult that they wanted as children. I don't think that's inherently bad, even if it's, holds no real value or function in your life. Have at it, right? But most people are gonna just kind of do that on their own time, like in private. Like, if you're a grown man and you really badly want to wear a dress, like, buy one, dude. Wear it. Who cares? Not me. And you want to wear it in the privacy of your own home? Okay. I still think you're an AGP, but, like, that's not bad. That's not against the law. It's not inherently wrong, right? But so, this is just not someone who's, like, mentally okay, obviously. Okay, I got into it with this loser. These are not in order, and I don't care because it's just like this. I'm probably not even going to read all of these because they're just the same general slop that liberals love to repeat and broadcast, and they think they're helping in some way. I think I did do this just backwards slightly. Only for the creeps who suddenly find their trans identities after their attacks. I was saying that he's not being manly because he's not protecting women. Like, manly men protect women, and you don't have to be any sort of sexuality to do that, right? But he was saying that, oh, trans women deserve to go into women's bathrooms because that's how they feel. And I was like, no, the fuck they shouldn't. Fuck their feelings. Who cares? You're not protecting women here. You're protecting the minority, which is transgender women. Stop. And he was like, only for the creeps. And I was saying that a lot of them do use the transgender identity in order to better prey on women and children. Okay, that's a known thing. All right. It's also a possible thing. It's also a thing that people should be concerned about, right? Let me tell you guys a story, okay? I had this friend a while back, and she was kind of a brain rot liberal, but she was kind of open to hearing my points to a point, which is how it always is with liberals. But anyway, she was telling me that one time she was at a church, and I can't remember if it was like an actual church service or like an event or something, but it doesn't matter. So she went to the bathroom, and there was a transgender there that she had met, okay? A male, obviously, a Tim, trans-identified male, there. And she went to use the bathroom, and she said that this bathroom was wherever they were hanging out in the church. This bathroom was kind of far away. Like, she had to go down a staircase and go down a long hallway in order to get to this bathroom. So she went there, used the bathroom. As she was getting out of the bathroom, this transgender was in the bathroom. That is obviously someone who was keeping track of women possibly using the bathroom, who was maybe even watching the door of wherever they were to see if a woman would leave and follow them to the fucking bathroom. Hello. And she was like, and nothing else happened other than that. And she said she just left, and the transgender kind of left her alone after that. But she said she always got a bad feeling about that. And I was like, yeah, no shit, Sherlock, because there was a bad feeling there. There was a predatory intention there. You're absolutely right. That's gross and weird and wrong. Okay? And they get off. They get off on doing this, you guys. Who's that fucking weirdo? I forgot his name. I think he calls himself Lily or something, who was constantly taking pictures of himself in the Disney World bathrooms and posting them, because it is, to them, it is a place where they can hashtag validate their gender. It's like it's they get off on that, even if they're not. Okay, you know what? I'm gonna go ahead and say it. If you're a man using the women's bathroom for no actual reason other than you, I quote unquote identify as a woman, that's predatory. Period. Even if you're not physically harming other women or children, that is predatory. Yeah. But anyway, I forgot this guy's name. He got in trouble finally because he posted himself in pictures enough times, and he got caught. He posted himself using the bathrooms. Here we go. His name is no, I can't find it. Fuck. Lily Contino. Anyway, so that's what this guy was talking about. Trans people have to pass assessments and be in treatment for a certain period of time. No, they don't. No, they do not, dude. Read like I don't. If you guys watch any detransitioner videos, almost all of them, many of them, especially ones with women who are now detransitioning back to their rightful sex, they say they just showed up at the doctor, said like read from a script basically, and were given hormone treatment in like a 15-minute, less than 15-minute appointment. Planned Parenthood hands out, I don't know if they still do, but they handed out testosterone like candy. They handed out hormones like candy. Okay? To anyone who showed up and said they wanted it. It's the men in all of our lives that pose the biggest threat to the women around us. Yes! He knows. He understands. This is a male, by the way. This is an actual, like, normal-looking guy, not a transgender. Okay? So he knows that, but he doesn't see the danger of allowing transgenders in women's bathrooms. Anyway, what you're saying about trans men and women may be true of a few trans people. The majority recognize their identities and then have to work with themselves to accept that. Okay, well, that shouldn't include getting mutilation surgeries, but anyway. Then they have to face family, friends, and society and doctors to gain acceptance and to make any charges they want in order to express themselves as they feel they should be. Okay, well, I don't care, though. That's the thing, is that I don't care. No one cares about that. If they want to do that, that's up to them, but they should also not be doing that. Please do go and listen to trans people experiences in America and beyond. It's not a religion. It's not a contagion. It's not a delusion. It is all of those things. It's a religion. It's a cult. I'm sorry. It's not a religion. It's a cult. It is a contagion. And it's a delusion. It's all three of those things. This is liberals repeating the mantras that they think are true. And conservatives do it too. Okay, it's not unique to liberals, but they love to do this. They love to just reiterate, repeat, regurgitate these bullshit phrases because they want to believe that it's true. They think that repeating them is going to make it true. And that is not factual. It's like a prayer. It's like a prayer to them. When you call my name, it's like a transgender or a prayer. Okay, yeah, and it's a religion because it's a cult because it follows the BITE model. The BITE model is behavior, information, thinking, and emotions, and the trans cult ticks all those boxes. It influences your behavior, it influences the information you receive, it influences the thoughts you have, and it influences your emotions. It controls all those things. Okay? That makes it a cult. Here's another one. Sex and gender identity are different. I'm LARPing as a man is expected to appear. I said that transgenders are LARPing. And he was like, this is his response. You're presenting women are expected to. Oh, he said as. He meant to say as women are expected to. But again, they have trouble typing. They have trouble writing. They have trouble articulating their points. If you have trouble articulating your point, not because you have some kind of articulation issue, but because you have no point to articulate, well, then I guess you don't have a point, do you? Do you? Okay, that's what I mean. Facts don't care about feelings. The fact is, legally, trans people are the gender they say they are, at least for now in your country. As for your feelings, I said feelings to him, that's why he repeated it. Don't let them cause you to accuse another woman in your space. That could go badly if they take offense. Offense is spelled wrong. Yeah, I'm actually not going to accuse another woman of being trans in my space. I will accuse a man because he's a male in a women's space where he should not be. Could that end badly? Maybe with violence, but that's like such a male thing, right? That's so male. How male to try to physically better someone when saying, get the fuck out of my bathroom. Go the fuck back to the men's bathroom, you man. Hello? Okay. And I told him it was anti-gay. I told him transgenderism is anti-gay. I was like, how is it not anti-gay? He said, don't even start on the transing the gay way nonsense. I've heard that get hormones after 15 minutes. Maybe that happened. That's the fault of that service if it did. Well, it's nationwide, bro. It's also in other countries. It's happening it happened in the UK and Ireland. Okay? Sorry, I meant to say it happened in England and Ireland. I know for a fact that it did. And it's likely still happening here. The fact is that each patient would then have to continue to see doctors and psychiatrists while they're receiving treatment. Also, ask detransitioners why they detransition. Usually their answer includes something about not being accepted by family, friends, and society. Well, they're not accepting of themselves, first and foremost. Transgenders don't accept themselves as they are. But they expect everyone around them to accept them as how they say they are. How is that not a religious cult? That is a religious cult mantra. I don't want to hear it. Much like gay and bi people not so long ago who choose to enter opposite sex relationships. Okay, well, yeah, I'm not denying that happened because it did and it does. But people who do that more often than not aren't physically mutilating themselves to the point of not being able to function on a daily basis. Yeah, maybe that's not pleasant to be married to someone you don't really love, of course, but you're not physically mutilating yourself about it. You're not physically mutilating yourself in order to do that. Good Lord. Okay. I think I already read this. Okay, no, I didn't. As the last comment I'm going to make on this, if you haven't read a trans people, even detransitioners, and can't understand why anyone would publicly detransition despite the attacks and hate they are going to receive, then you're only arguing for fun. You can't actually care in the slightest. Also, there are tens of thousands of non-trans people, including children, taking hormones and having surgeries to make their body healthy or to just look the way they want it to look. Okay, the latter that's dumb as fuck. Just to look the way they want it to look. Are you kidding me? It's okay for kids to do that? What the fuck? No. In some cases, okay. I kind of get it, but I don't know what he's referring to. When would a child be taking hormones in order to look the way they want to look? When would that happen? Maybe never? Okay. No affirming care should be applied to all of those too, because we just don't know the long-term risks. I'm not sure what he was trying to say there. No affirming care should be applied to all of those. It doesn't matter. I think he was saying that affirming care is exempt from people being critical of it because transgenders are who they say they are, and that we don't know the long-term risks isn't a good enough defense for them not to do it. Yeah, it is. Yeah, the fuck it is, bruh. I don't know what you're talking about. Stupid. Okay, this one was a weird one. Dr. Gemma Sheetal claims trans women are superior to biological women. Maybe it's Dr. Gemma Shitall. So dumb. Okay, I think that's enough of this. But I actually meant to include another screenshot of a totally psycho woman who was a nurse and defending transgenderism tooth and nail. Where she said like that I was just super hateful and I was mentally ill, and that I'm gonna get what I want out of doing this, and I actually am, because I actually have stopped a lot of people from being trans, and I have stopped. I've my videos have helped people to either not become trans in the first place or to detransition, or at least or also become critical and or against transgenderism. So I'm glad about that. And the fact that medical professionals are defending transgenderism and think it's okay is really messed up and is a great example of why there's a lot of corruption and, frankly, mental illness in the medical profession. I'll just put that out there. Okay, thanks for watching. Bye.